Hello, pupils. Thanks for joining me, and I'm revisiting this Taylor 114. I absolutely love this guitar, the sound of it. My customer loves it too, but this is going to be the third time that I've done a neck angle adjustment on this guitar. And it appears to be because of this dome that the guitar has been developing over the last 5 years of its life. It's almost a new guitar. And you can see back here that it has quite a dome. It has a 9-foot radius dome back here. Back a little further, it's 13 foot. And then it even gets to where it's even flatter to something like a 40-foot radius back here. But it's domed. That's a 40-foot radius gauge right there. Here's a 14-foot. So it's even more or less a 13-foot radius in this direction and in this direction. And it's causing us to have to re-evaluate the neck angle every time. I just looked at this guitar 7 months ago, and now we're going to be looking at it again. And look how bad the action is. It's 9/64 at the 12th fret. String action is in millimeters, 3.5 millimeters on the bass strings and 3 1/4 here on the treble strings. The neck is nice and straight. It's got 5/1000ths of an inch relief, and the saddle has a decent break angle. It has some nice height here on the saddle. But I think the back is doming up just as bad as the top. The back doesn't have any braces. It's one of these arched backs, no brace design, so it's not a matter of the braces coming loose. Let's measure that dome. I bet you it's about a 13-footer. Oh no, it's a lot more than 13 foot. Wow. My goodness. Wonder what that is. That's a 4-foot. And that's a 3-foot. So it looks like it's at about a 3.5-foot radius. That is the most domed back I've ever seen in my life. If any of you guys have any arched back Taylors, let me know what you think the radius is. I don't know if you could have access to this. You can get these radius gauges on the Luth Group, or Luth Group 3D print. If you're a member of the Luth Group, you can join for $5 a month. If you're not, well, would you look at that? We've got a couple shims in here. I put these in last time it was in the shop. I guess after the neck angle adjustment, the saddle was a little too low and I needed to raise the action. So that's an interesting development. By removing those two shims, I can lower the action by 1/64, and then by tightening the truss rod and straightening the neck, I can lower it by another 64th, so a full 32nd. Interesting. That'll get us down to 7/64. That's a lot closer to the to my goal than I would have expected without doing a neck angle adjustment. Well, that saves a little time and money. Let's put this. Let's restring it and see where we're at. Let's make sure. Did I even check the string height at the 12th fret with the high E string? I'll find out in a minute. Well, that kind of did the trick over here on the treble side. We've got 4/64ths, and it looks like up to about 6/64ths till I get to this low E where it's almost 7/64ths. So I think when I change, we're not going to do a neck angle adjustment this time, but I would like to keep good notes of how the dome is shaped this visit, and then next year when they come, we'll be able to compare. And then once I take these old strings off, I'll reshape this saddle so that the low E string's a little bit lower. Let's do that right quick. There's something I want to show you guys. A banjolele came in. I've never seen one before, but it reminds me of the Grogu of guitar repair world. The smallest, cutest little thing you've ever seen. It's Grogu. Here's another good 3D print. If you join the Luth group today for $5 a month and you have a 3D printer, you can print out these bridge pin pullers and stick them right on your StewMac Deluxe fret pullers. I never found that these fret pullers worked so great for pulling frets, so I use my old channel lock ones for pulling frets, and I use these ones for pulling bridge pins. We'll recycle those strings. Look at that old 1960 Gretsch Chet Atkins Country Gentleman with a single cutaway. We're doing a binding repair on it. Now we'll shape that saddle down a little lower on the low E string. We'll just nip off a little bit there, about a 32nd of an inch. Then we'll smooth it over with some 320 grit and some 600 grit. Here's a little bit of Howard feeding wax on an ebony fretboard. It looks thirsty. That bridge looks a little thirsty. Drink it if you got it. I just wipe it in, wipe it on, and wipe it right off. I don't let it soak in or sit there for any length of time. Heard something rattling around in there. Look what we got us, a tone ball. Pack of EJ16s. I always like to put that little bend in the near the ball just to make sure it hooks down under the bridge plate. Just give it a little hook, not too much, just a little bit. And we got our freshly shaped saddle. New strings. Just want to make sure that ball locks in right up against that bridge plate. Bridge plate's down under here. It's usually like a 2 millimeter slice of maple. Let's look at it. If I stick my light in there, and a mirror, yep, maple it is. You can see how the ball, we're only going to be able to see that one because the pickup system totally in the way. You kind of see how the back has no braces in it. I'm starting to wonder if that's walnut or sapele on the back and sides. I just looked it up. It is walnut. I was talking about this guitar to a couple Taylor authorized service techs yesterday, and they're like, oh, that's got to be sapele. It can't be walnut. But I was guessing walnut yesterday, and that's what the internet says. And it's nicely figured walnut. We're going to look at that some more. Yeah, and walnut and maple is a great combination. You've got a maple neck, Sitka spruce top with a little bear claw in it, actually, and a walnut back and sides, man. George Loudon, that's one of his favorite wood combinations. And to say he does deep dives into guitar tone would be, to say the least. Alright, here we go. From the outside string inward towards the talking about the nut there, give me about 5-6 inches of height above the body joint. I go over for the first wrap and under for the rest of the wrap, holding it down so it's nice and tidy. Watch that again. I go through the hole, get my slack in the string, create kind of an S there. I bend this up towards the ceiling, and I wrap, holding it down. The rest of them are going to go underneath. And this is what I'm talking about, 6/64ths and 4/64ths. That is equal to 2.75 millimeters and 1.75 millimeters, or 1.5 millimeters roughly. So 3 millimeters on this side, 2 millimeters on that side, or thereabouts is a great setup. for most guitars. Well, since this one is good to go, let's look at this little Washburn I'm working on. Let's look at that figured walnut back. Very cool. And there's that bear claw here in the spruce top I was saying. Got a little bear claw going. Hold her still. Let's look at this tiny little Washburn. It's about 100-year-old Washburn. I want you guys to look at this. So my customer Don drove this all the way down from Buffalo, New York. It's even got the tag still on the inside. I covered it up with press and seal wrap so I didn't, mess it up during my restoration. Brazilian rosewood. I got it all shined up over here on this end. I wanted to clean it off because I'm going to do a neck reset. They put a weird bar of steel in the neck. So they put this weird piece of steel. They took the fretboard off. Someone inserted this truss rod and they extended it out way longer than they needed to because you don't need any steel reinforcements up here in this area. You got the body to support the fretboard extension up here, so I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut the steel right there so I can get the fretboard extension to fall away a little bit. Right now it's kind of ski jumped, but this part of the neck is it's not cupped in any way. It's actually in a back bow, I think. Yeah, this area of the neck, which is the money area, has 3/1000ths of a back bow. Note, that's actually probably going to set up quite nicely. Wow, on the treble side it shows 12/1000. We're going to do a refret though, so we might be able to. Yeah, we're going to true this up with the refret. All right, well, this is going to be maybe a good video. How do I get customers all the way from Buffalo, New York, driving 16 hours to Nashville? I did a video on one of these, very similar, Washburn. I think that one was called the 1918 or something, 1915 model. This one's, I don't know exactly what model, but this one's from 1894 to 1896. This is serial number 284307. It's going to be a beauty. And thanks a bunch for tuning in this week, guys. I really appreciate you. We'll catch you later.